The year was 2235, and humanity had reached the far edges of the Milky Way galaxy. The United Earth Federation had recently launched an ambitious program to explore uncharted territories, seeking new alliances and resources to bolster humanity's standing in the universe. Among these ventures was the Odyssey, a state-of-the-art exploration vessel equipped with the latest in space travel technology. Captain Marcus Drake, a seasoned astronaut with a reputation for both bravery and strategic brilliance, was chosen to lead the mission. At his side were Lieutenant Sarah Hart, a skilled pilot and tactician known for her quick thinking in dire situations, Engineer Jake Walker, a genius with machines and systems, capable of fixing anything that might go wrong, and communications specialist Maya Lin, whose expertise in xenolinguistics and first contact protocols made her invaluable for the mission's diplomatic goals. The Odyssey departed from the Earth space station amidst a grand send-off. As the ship broke free from Earth's gravitational pull, the crew settled into their roles, each member driven by the sense of adventure and the hope of discovering the unknown. Their primary objective was to reach the periphery, a region of space that had yet to be explored by human eyes, and to establish contact with any alien civilizations they might encounter. As they traveled through the vast expanse of space, the crew maintained a rigorous schedule of training, research, and preparation. They knew that any encounter with alien life could be unpredictable, and they wanted to be ready for whatever might come their way. The ship's AI, known as Halo, provided constant updates on their progress and monitored the ship's systems, ensuring that everything was running smoothly. The crew's camaraderie grew stronger with each passing day. Captain Drake's leadership fostered a sense of unity and purpose, while Sarah's tactical drills kept them sharp. Jake's enthusiasm for his work was infectious, often leading to late-night discussions about the potential technologies they might discover. Maya, on the other hand, spent countless hours analyzing possible communication methods, preparing for the moment they would encounter an alien species. Their journey through the galaxy was not without its challenges. The vast distances and the isolation of space tested their endurance and mental fortitude. Yet their shared goal and the excitement of the unknown kept their spirits high. They encountered various celestial phenomena, from pulsars to nebulae, each one a reminder of the wonders that lay beyond their home planet. The Odyssey's journey took a dramatic turn as it navigated through a dense asteroid field. The ship's AI, Halo, plotted a course to avoid the largest asteroids, but the field was more treacherous than anticipated. Smaller, faster-moving debris posed a significant threat to the ship's hull. Despite their best efforts, a particularly large asteroid suddenly appeared on their trajectory, forcing Lieutenant Sarah Hart to perform an emergency maneuver. The ship lurched violently as Sarah expertly steered it away from the immediate collision. However, the abrupt change in course triggered a cascade of system failures. Alarms blared throughout the vessel as the crew scrambled to assess the damage. Halo reported multiple breaches in the ship's outer hull and critical failures in the propulsion and life support systems. Engineer Jake Walker rushed to the engine room, working frantically to stabilize the ship's core systems. Sparks flew and smoke filled the air as he tried to reroute power and seal off the damaged sections. Despite his best efforts, it became clear that the Odyssey was losing structural integrity rapidly. The situation grew dire as the ship's AI warned that total system failure was imminent. Captain Marcus Drake, maintaining his composure under pressure, issued the order to abandon ship. The crew quickly donned their spacesuits and headed to the escape pods. Maya Lin, ensuring that essential data and research were transferred to portable devices, was the last to board her pod. With a heavy heart, Marcus activated the emergency ejection sequence, launching the pods away from the crippled Odyssey. The escape pods hurtled through space, their occupants helpless as they watched their once proud vessel drift into the void, now a lifeless hulk. The pod's navigation systems directed them toward the nearest habitable planet, the one they had detected earlier. As they entered the planet's atmosphere, the crew braced for a rough landing. The descent was turbulent, with the pods buffeted by strong winds and atmospheric turbulence. Each crew member experienced a heart-pounding descent as they fought to control their pods' trajectories. The landscape below came into view, a lush, verdant planet with sprawling forests and glistening bodies of water. Despite the hostile approach, the beauty of the alien world was undeniable. The escape pods crash-landed in various locations within a dense jungle, each impact jarring but survivable. Captain Drake's pod landed in a clearing, where he quickly set about locating the other crew members. One by one, he found them. Sarah, bruised but determined; Jake, already assessing the damage to his pod; and Maya, disoriented but safe. Reunited, the crew took stock of their situation. They were stranded on an unknown planet with limited supplies and no immediate means of communication with Earth. Despite the gravity of their predicament, they were alive and together. As they surveyed their surroundings, the realization set in that their survival depended on understanding and adapting to this new world. The breakthrough came when Maya Lin, ever observant and perceptive, noticed a faint melodic hum resonating through the air. She gestured for the crew to follow the sound, leading them to a serene clearing where a group of ethereal beings awaited. These aliens, the Seraphim, stood with an air of elegance and grace. Their luminescent skin shimmered under the planet's twin suns, and their eyes glowed with an inner light. The Seraphim communicated telepathically, their thoughts weaving into the minds of the crew like a gentle whisper. Maya, with her background in xenolinguistics, was the first to respond. Concentrating intently, she projected her thoughts toward the Seraphim, forming simple concepts and greetings. The connection was tenuous at first, but it gradually strengthened as both sides adjusted to this new form of interaction. The leader of the Seraphim, a figure of striking beauty and regal bearing, introduced herself as Lyra. Through a series of mental exchanges, Lyra conveyed that the Seraphim had been aware of the crew's arrival and their crash landing. They had observed from a distance, assessing whether the newcomers posed a threat. Satisfied with their intentions, the Seraphim decided to make contact. As they entered Lumina, the crew was greeted by a panorama of towering spires, shimmering gardens, and bustling marketplaces. The city's inhabitants moved with a fluid grace, their every action seeming to blend seamlessly with the rhythm of their surroundings. The crew was struck by the sense of peace and balance that permeated the city. Lyra led them to the Grand Council chamber, a majestic hall where the ruling council of the Seraphim convened. The chamber was a marvel of engineering, with walls made of translucent crystal that glowed softly with the energy of the planet itself. The council members, each distinguished by unique markings and attire, regarded the humans with a mix of curiosity and caution. Through Lyra, the council learned of the crew's mission and the circumstances that had brought them to Alyria. The Seraphim were intrigued by the humans' journey through space and their quest for knowledge and connection. In turn, the crew learned about the Seraphim's history, culture, and the challenges they faced in maintaining their peaceful society. The Seraphim's society was matriarchal, with women holding all significant positions of power and influence. Men, while present, played different roles, often focused on artistic and scholarly pursuits. The crew's presence was both a novelty and a potential catalyst for change, as the Seraphim had never encountered beings quite like them. As the days passed, the crew integrated into life in Lumina, learning the ways of the Seraphim and sharing their own knowledge and technology. Sarah assisted in upgrading the Seraphim's transportation systems. Jake worked with Seraphim engineers to improve their energy efficiency, and Maya deepened her understanding of telepathic communication. However, beneath the surface of this idyllic society, tension simmered. The crew learned of the Dark Song, a faction within the Seraphim that opposed the ruling council and sought to disrupt the harmonious order. The Dark Song viewed the arrival of the humans as an opportunity to challenge the status quo, seeing in them potential allies or pawns in their struggle for power. The tranquility of Lumina was shattered one evening when the crew was ambushed while returning from a meeting with the ruling council. A group of Dark Song militants, clad in dark, angular armor, emerged from the shadows, their weapons trained on the humans. The Dark Song leader, a fierce and imposing figure named Zoreth, demanded their immediate surrender. Captain Drake, always prepared for the unexpected, signaled his team to stay calm. He tried to reason with Zorath, explaining that their intentions were peaceful and that they sought only to aid the Seraphim. However, Zorath's eyes burned with mistrust and anger. He accused the humans of conspiring with the ruling council to suppress the Dark Song and maintain their oppressive regime. The crew had no choice but to comply with Zorath's demands, as resistance would likely result in unnecessary bloodshed. They were bound and taken to a hidden Dark Song encampment deep in the jungle, far from the prying eyes of Lumina's authorities. The camp was a stark contrast to the serene beauty of Lumina, filled with tension and an air of impending violence. In the days that followed, the crew was subjected to intense interrogations. The Dark Song sought to extract any information that could be used against the ruling council. Despite their harsh treatment, the crew remained resolute, refusing to divulge anything that could jeopardize their Seraphim allies. During their captivity, they learned more about the Dark Song's grievances, a belief that the ruling council was corrupt, self-serving, and unwilling to share power or resources with the broader population. Zorath revealed the Dark Song's plan to use the crew as leverage. They intended to force the council into negotiations, using the humans' knowledge and technology as bargaining chips. The Dark Song believed that with the humans' help, they could tip the balance of power in their favor and bring about a new era for Alyria. On the night of their planned escape, the crew acted swiftly and silently. They navigated through the camp with a combination of stealth and determination, avoiding patrols and bypassing security systems. As they neared the perimeter, Maya reached out telepathically to Lyra, hoping that their bond was strong enough to span the distance. Her call for help was met with a swift response, as Lyra had been monitoring the situation closely, fearing for their safety. Lyra and a small group of loyal Seraphim operatives arrived at the Dark Song camp just as the crew made their final dash for freedom. A skirmish broke out, with the Dark Song forces attempting to recapture their prisoners. The combined efforts of the Seraphim and the crew turned the tide, and they managed to escape into the dense jungle. Once back in Lumina, the crew reported their ordeal to the ruling council. The council, deeply disturbed by the Dark Song's actions, recognized the urgency of the situation. They decided to take a more proactive approach to address the underlying issues that had fueled the Dark Song's rebellion. Captain Drake and his team proposed a plan to mediate between the two factions, leveraging their unique position as neutral parties who had experienced both sides. The council reluctantly agreed, understanding that a peaceful resolution was in the best interest of all. The crew, now more than ever, felt the weight of their responsibility, not just to survive, but to help bring peace to Alyria. Tensions ran high as the crew and Lyra prepared for a meeting with Zorath and his lieutenants. The stakes were enormous, and the outcome uncertain. As they ventured into the jungle once more, this time under a flag of truce, the crew knew that their actions in the coming days could determine the future of an entire planet. Zorath and his Dark Song lieutenants arrived, their expressions guarded and distrustful. The discussions began tentatively, with both sides airing their grievances and hopes for Alyria's future. The crew facilitated the dialogue, emphasizing common ground and the benefits of cooperation. It seemed that progress was being made, as both factions showed a willingness to listen and compromise. However, the fragile peace was shattered when a hidden faction within the Dark Song, dissatisfied with the direction of the talks, launched a surprise attack. A group of militants, armed with advanced weaponry, stormed the clearing, taking everyone by surprise. Chaos erupted as energy blasts filled the air, and the crew, along with their Seraphim allies, were quickly overwhelmed. Captain Drake and his team fought valiantly, but they were outnumbered and outgunned. The Dark Song militants captured them, binding their hands and escorting them to a fortified camp deeper in the jungle. Zorath, furious at the betrayal from within his own ranks, was also taken captive, now viewed as a potential liability by the more radical elements of his movement. In the camp, the crew was interrogated relentlessly. The new Dark Song leaders, more ruthless and uncompromising than Zorath, sought to extract every bit of information they could about human technology and the political landscape of Lumina. They were determined to use this knowledge to bolster their power and undermine the ruling council. One night, under the cover of darkness, Jake triggered the device. The camp was plunged into confusion as lights flickered and alarms blared. The crew seized the moment, overpowering their guards and slipping out of their cell. They moved swiftly through the camp, guided by the map Sarah had memorized during their captivity. As they navigated the maze of tents and barricades, they encountered Zorath, held in a separate cell. Despite their differences, Captain Drake decided to free him, believing that Zorath's knowledge and leadership could be crucial in the coming battle. Zorath, surprised but grateful, agreed to help, vowing to bring the rogue elements of the Dark Song back under control. Together, they fought their way out of the camp, using the confusion to their advantage. The crew's training and cohesion shone through as they neutralized guards and disabled traps. Maya used her telepathic abilities to communicate with Lyra, alerting her to their location and the situation at the camp. Lyra, responding with remarkable speed, led a contingent of loyal Seraphim warriors to intercept the escaping crew. The clash between Lyra's forces and the rogue Darksong militants was intense, but the combined strength and resolve of the Seraphim and the human crew proved too much for the radicals. Reunited with Lyra, the crew and Zorath made their way back to Lumina. The experience had forged an unlikely alliance between them and Zorath, who now saw the value in working towards a peaceful resolution. The escape had also strengthened the crew's bond with the Seraphim, their shared struggle deepening their mutual respect and understanding. Back in Lumina, the ruling council, having witnessed the lengths to which the crew had gone to secure peace, were more committed than ever to finding a lasting solution. They knew that the path ahead would be challenging, but with the crew's guidance and the support of their new allies, there was hope for a brighter future for Alyria. Reunited with the ruling council in Lumina, the crew and their Seraphim allies wasted no time in preparing for the inevitable confrontation with the Darksong. The experience of captivity and escape had only solidified their resolve. The council, now fully aware of the internal threat posed by the Darksong, called for an urgent meeting to strategize and mobilize their resources. Captain Drake and his crew took charge of coordinating defense and attack strategies, sharing their military expertise with the Seraphim. Sarah Hart led intensive training sessions, teaching the Seraphim advanced combat tactics and maneuvers. Jake Walker collaborated with Seraphim engineers to upgrade their defensive technologies, integrating human innovations with the Seraphim's existing systems. Meanwhile, Maya Lin worked closely with Lyra to enhance telepathic communication across Lumina, ensuring that all operatives could coordinate seamlessly during the upcoming battle. Lyra, with her deep understanding of Seraphim society, helped the crew navigate the complex political landscape, securing alliances with various factions that had previously remained neutral. The atmosphere in Lumina was a mix of urgency and determination. The crystalline city buzzed with activity as preparations reached a fever pitch. Weapons were forged, defenses fortified, and every citizen mobilized for the impending conflict. The council, with renewed vigor, issued a call to arms, rallying the Seraphim to defend their home and way of life. In the midst of these preparations, Captain Drake and Lyra forged a deeper alliance. They understood that their cooperation was crucial to the survival of both their peoples. Late-night strategy sessions in the Grand Council chamber became commonplace, their minds working in unison to outmaneuver the Darksong. The crew also took time to bond with their Seraphim counterparts. Sarah developed a close friendship with a Seraphim warrior named Alyria, whose bravery and skill in battle were unmatched. Jake found a kindred spirit in Leora, a brilliant engineer whose curiosity matched his own. Maya, always the empath, formed a strong connection with Elis, a telepath who shared her passion for understanding and communication. The attack began with a sudden, deafening roar. The Darksong forces, led by a radical commander named Varric, launched a full-scale assault on Lumina. Waves of militants poured into the city, their dark armor gleaming under the twin suns. Energy weapons fired relentlessly, and the once peaceful streets of Lumina became a battleground. Captain Drake and Sarah led the frontline defense, coordinating their troops with precision and efficiency. The Seraphim, bolstered by the crew's training, fought with unparalleled ferocity. Alyria, the Seraphim warrior, was a whirlwind of destruction, her movements a blur as she cut through enemy lines. Jake and Leora worked tirelessly to maintain the city's defenses, repairing damage and ensuring that power systems remained operational. In the midst of the chaos, Maya and Elis moved through the battlefield, using their telepathic abilities to relay crucial information and support their allies. They provided real-time updates on enemy movements, allowing the defenders to anticipate and counter each attack. Their presence was a beacon of hope and coordination, keeping the lines of communication open even in the heat of battle. The turning point came when Captain Drake, leading a strike team, managed to breach the Darksong's command center. The crew's mission was to disable the enemy's tactical operations and create a ripple effect of confusion among their ranks. The battle inside the command center was fierce, with Drake and his team facing heavily armed guards and automated defenses. Meanwhile, Lyra and Zorath led a daring assault on the Darksong's rear lines, creating a diversion that drew enemy forces away from the city. Zorath, fighting alongside the very people he once opposed, displayed unmatched bravery and determination. His actions inspired many of his former followers to reconsider their allegiance, further weakening the Darksong's resolve. Back in the command center, Jake used his technical prowess to hack into the Darksong's systems, causing critical malfunctions in their equipment and communication networks. The disruption was immediate and devastating. With their command structure in disarray and their technological advantage neutralized, the Darksong forces began to falter. The battle raged on, but the momentum had shifted. The defenders of Lumina, fueled by the courage and ingenuity of both humans and Seraphim, pressed their advantage. One by one, the Darksong positions were overrun, their forces either captured or driven into retreat. The relentless teamwork and unity of the defenders proved too much for the attackers to overcome. Lyra, sensing the moment was ripe for a final push, rallied her forces. "Now is our chance to end this conflict once and for all," she declared, her voice echoing through the communication channels. Inspired by her leadership and the bravery of the human crew, the Seraphim fighters launched a coordinated counteroffensive. The battle's intensity reached its peak as the defenders pressed forward, reclaiming territory and dismantling the remaining Darksong strongholds. Alyria, the fierce Seraphim warrior, led the charge with unparalleled ferocity. Her presence on the battlefield was a beacon of hope, and her warriors followed her with unwavering loyalty. Jake and Leora continued to work tirelessly behind the scenes, ensuring that the city's defenses remained strong and operational. They devised clever traps and automated countermeasures that further disoriented the retreating Darksong forces. The city's energy shields, enhanced with human technology, withstood even the most intense attacks. Maya and Elis played a crucial role in maintaining communication and coordination among the defenders. Their telepathic network allowed for real-time updates and strategic adjustments, keeping the defenders one step ahead of the enemy. The bond between Maya and Elis grew stronger, their minds working in perfect harmony to support their comrades. Captain Drake, leading from the front, directed his team with precision. He recognized that the Darksong, now leaderless and fragmented, posed a diminishing threat. His focus shifted to ensuring that as many lives as possible were spared, both among the defenders and the remaining Darksong fighters who chose to surrender. Zorath, once a leader of the Darksong, played a pivotal role in convincing many of his former followers to lay down their arms. His presence on the side of Lumina's defenders served as a powerful symbol of unity and redemption. Through his efforts, a significant portion of the Darksong forces chose to abandon the fight, further tipping the scales in favor of peace. With the Darksong defeated and peace restored, Lumina entered a period of healing and reconstruction. The ruling council, deeply grateful for the crew's indispensable role in securing victory, held a grand ceremony to honor their bravery and contributions. The city was adorned with bioluminescent decorations, casting a radiant glow that symbolized hope and renewal. Captain Drake and his crew stood alongside their Seraphim allies in the Grand Council chamber. Lyra, representing the ruling council, addressed the assembly. Today we celebrate not just a victory in battle, but the beginning of a new era for Alyria. We have proven that unity and cooperation can overcome even the greatest of challenges. The crew was presented with tokens of gratitude, crafted from the finest crystals of Lumina. These gifts were symbols of the bond that had been forged between humanity and the Seraphim. The ceremony was a joyous occasion, filled with music, dance, and expressions of camaraderie. The crew and their Seraphim friends reveled in the shared sense of achievement. As the festivities continued, the crew took time to reflect on their journey. They had come to Alyria as explorers, seeking knowledge and understanding, and had found themselves embroiled in a conflict that tested their limits and forged unbreakable bonds. They had not only survived, but had played a pivotal role in shaping the future of an entire civilization. Captain Drake, ever the strategist, looked to the future. He knew that the lessons learned on Alyria would be invaluable as humanity continued its journey through the stars. The alliance with the Seraphim opened new possibilities for exploration and cooperation, and he was eager to see what other wonders awaited beyond the next horizon. Sarah Hart, inspired by her friendship with Arya and the bravery she had witnessed, felt a renewed sense of purpose. She knew that her experiences on Alyria would guide her in future missions, and she looked forward to the challenges and adventures that lay ahead. Jake Walker, ever the engineer, was fascinated by the potential for further technological collaboration between humans and the Seraphim. He saw endless possibilities for innovation and improvement, driven by the synergy of their combined knowledge and skills. Maya Lin, deeply moved by her connection with Elis and the telepathic bond they had shared, felt a profound sense of fulfillment. She had always sought to understand and connect with other species, and her experiences on Alyria had shown her the true depth of interspecies communication and empathy. As the Odyssey's engines roared to life, the crew felt a mixture of excitement and melancholy. Their time on Alyria had been transformative, filled with challenges, triumphs, and deep connections. The Seraphim, now allies and friends, gathered to bid them farewell. The atmosphere was charged with emotion, a blend of gratitude and the sadness of parting. Captain Drake addressed the assembly one last time. "We came to your world as strangers, and now we leave as friends. The bond we have forged will remain strong, no matter the distance between our worlds. Thank you for your bravery, your wisdom, and your friendship. We will never forget our time here." Lyra, standing beside him, added, "The Seraphim will always remember the courage and compassion of the human crew. Our alliance marks a new beginning for Alyria, one of hope and mutual respect. Farewell, friends. May your journey be safe and your discoveries endless." Each crew member shared personal farewells with the Seraphim they had grown close to. Sarah embraced Arya, promising to keep in touch through the telepathic link Maya and Elis had strengthened. Jake and Leora exchanged engineering sketches and ideas, excited about future collaborations. Maya and Elis, their bond the deepest, spent a quiet moment together, reflecting on the profound understanding they had achieved. With final goodbyes said, the crew boarded the Odyssey. The ship's interior, once a sterile environment, now felt infused with the spirit of Alyria. As they prepared for departure, each crew member took a moment to reflect on the journey ahead and the lessons they had learned. Upon landing, the crew was greeted with a hero's welcome. Officials from the United Earth Federation, along with family and friends, celebrated their return. The crew was honored in a grand ceremony, their achievements recognized as a significant milestone in humanity's journey through the stars. Captain Drake addressed the assembly, echoing his sentiments from Alyria. "Our mission has shown us the power of unity and the importance of reaching out to the unknown. We have made friends among the stars, and our journey has just begun. Together, we will continue to explore, learn, and build a future where all species can coexist in peace." Sarah, Jake, and Maya each shared their experiences and hopes for the future. Sarah spoke of the bravery and resilience she had witnessed, not just in the Seraphim, but in her own crew. Jake marveled at the technological advancements and the potential for collaborative innovation. Maya, with heartfelt emotion, emphasized the importance of understanding and empathy in forging lasting bonds. In the months that followed, the crew continued their work within the United Earth Federation, advocating for peaceful exploration and the establishment of diplomatic relations with alien civilizations. They shared their knowledge and experiences, inspiring a new wave of explorers and scientists eager to follow in their footsteps.